The city lights burned in the night sky. Tall towers reached into the clouds, but inside one small room, a man sat alone staring at the floor. His name was Daniel. He was just an ordinary human. Yet in this strange new world he felt like nothing. The rent was due. The landlord had already knocked on his door twice this week, and Daniel had no credits left, not even enough for food in this city. Machines worked harder than people. Aliens traded faster than humans, and most men like Daniel were forgotten. He sat on the edge of his bed, his hands shaking, his shirt wrinkled and dirty, laundry piled in the corner like a mountain. He whispered to himself, "I can't pay rent. I can't even keep my clothes clean." The silence in the room pressed heavy on his chest. His neighbors were out laughing. Machines hummed in the streets, but Daniel had nothing, only his shame. He thought about leaving, thought about walking out into the night and never coming back. But where would he go? Who would care? Then came the knock. Slow, gentle, almost polite. Daniel froze, his heart thumping hard. He thought it was the landlord again, ready to drag him out. But the sound was different. Softer, almost careful, he stood, walked to the door, and opened it just a little. There stood a woman, her face calm, her eyes bright in a way that made him uneasy. She smiled at him, not wide, but sharp. "Daniel," she said, her voice smooth like water. "You can't pay your rent," he frowned. "How do you know that?" he asked, his voice low. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she glanced past him into the room, her eyes landing on the pile of laundry in the corner. "I'll do what a man loves most," she whispered, leaning forward slightly. "And I'll fold your laundry." Daniel blinked, confused. "What, laundry?" he said, almost laughing. But her face stayed serious. She stepped closer, waiting for him to open the door wider, her hands folded in front of her. Too still, too perfect. Something about her didn't feel normal. Not her calmness, not her smile. But Daniel was too tired to question, too desperate to argue. He let her in and she walked to the corner without a word. Daniel sat down again, watching as she picked up a shirt. Her fingers moved fast, too fast. The cloth folded in clean, sharp lines. He rubbed his eyes, thinking maybe he was imagining it, but no. Every piece she touched turned neat, flat, and perfect. She kept smiling, her head tilted, like she was enjoying the task more than anyone should. Daniel felt uneasy, but he also felt lighter, as if the pile shrinking in the corner was lifting a weight from his chest. "Why are you doing this?" he asked finally, his voice breaking the silence. She didn't look at him. She only answered, "Because men love it, because humans love it, and because you need it." Her words made no sense, but the way she said them made his skin crawl. Daniel stood slowly, walking closer. "You're not from around here, are you?" he said, trying to sound brave. She stopped folding for a moment, turned her head toward him, and her eyes glowed faintly blue in the dim light. Daniel stepped back, his heart racing. "What are you?" he whispered. The woman only smiled wider. "I am what you need," she said, "and you are what I want." The room felt colder now. The hum of the city outside seemed far away. Daniel's throat was dry, his chest tight. This was no normal visitor, no kind neighbor, no helpful stranger. She was something else, something dangerous. But his laundry was almost gone, folded neatly on the bed, her hands still moving with strange grace. Daniel knew he should throw her out, slam the door, call for help, but he didn't move. He just stood there, staring. The woman glanced at him again, her smile softer now. "Don't be afraid," she said. "I only want to understand. I only want to learn what makes you human." Her voice was calm, but Daniel's fear grew. Why him? Why now? What did folding laundry have to do with being human? The pile was gone, the room felt cleaner, lighter. But Daniel's heart carried more weight than before. She placed the last shirt on the bed, turned to him and said, "Tomorrow I'll return, and we will talk." Before he could reply, she was gone, the door clicking shut behind her. Leaving only silence again, Daniel sat down, staring at the folded clothes, his mind racing. He had no rent, no food, no plan. But now he had something else, something stranger. A woman who wasn't a woman, a smile that wasn't human, and a promise that tomorrow would not be the same. And for the first time in weeks, Daniel wasn't thinking about rent, he was thinking about survival, and about the question burning in his chest. Who was she? And why did she choose him? The next morning came quietly. Light filtered through the cracks in the curtains, but Daniel did not move from his bed. He lay awake, staring at the folded laundry stacked neatly on the chair. The clothes looked too perfect, not like anything he could have done. The sharp lines, the crisp folds, all still there. It was proof that last night was not a dream. Daniel sat up, rubbed his eyes, and whispered. Who was she? He had no answers, only questions. And the weight of fear pressed harder on his chest than the weight of unpaid rent. Suddenly the knock returned, soft, slow, the same rhythm as before. Daniel's heart jumped. He stood, frozen for a moment. Part of him wanted to pretend he wasn't home, but another part wanted to know. He opened the door, and there she was again. The same calm face, the same sharp smile. Her eyes bright with that strange glow hidden deep inside. "Good morning, Daniel," she said, her voice smooth. "I told you I would return." Daniel stepped back. Not knowing what else to do, she walked in without waiting. Her presence filled the small room. This time she carried nothing, touched nothing, she only looked at him, studying his face, his posture, even the way he breathed. "You look afraid," she said gently. "Don't be," Daniel frowned. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" She tilted her head, that strange smile never leaving her lips. "What I want cannot be bought, it cannot be traded, it must be shown. It must be felt." Her words twisted in his mind. Confusing, but heavy. "What does that even mean?" he asked, trying to sound stronger than he felt. The woman stepped closer, her voice dropping low. "I will fold your laundry. I will clean your room. I will help you survive, but in return, I need something from you." Daniel stiffened. "What could I possibly give you? I don't even have rent money." She shook her head slowly. "Not money, never money. I need to learn what men love most, what humans love most. That is what I need from you." The words sank into him like a cold wind, his mind spinning. "Love," he whispered, almost laughing at the idea. "You came here for that." Her smile widened just a little. "Yes, love. The one thing that makes your kind different, stronger than machines, stranger than stars." Daniel stepped back until his legs hit the edge of the bed. "This is insane," he said. "You want me to—" "Teach you love." The woman's eyes flashed again, faint blue light dancing in her pupils. "Not teach, show. You must show me in the ways only humans can." Daniel shook his head, his voice cracking. "Why me, out of everyone in this city? Why me?" Her expression softened. For the first time she looked less like a statue and more like something alive. "Because you struggle, because you hurt, because you still stand even when you are empty. Only someone who knows pain can show true love." The silence stretched. Daniel's chest rose and fell fast, his breath shallow. He wanted to run. He wanted to throw her out, but his legs felt weak, his curiosity stronger than his fear. "What happens if I say no?" he asked finally, his voice low. The woman did not blink. "Then the choice is made, and your people lose, war will come, and love will be buried under steel and fire." Daniel froze, his blood cold. "War," he repeated. "What war?" Her voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. "The war between my kind and yours. It has not begun, but it waits, and the only thing that can stop it is what you carry inside you." Daniel's knees trembled. He sat back down on the bed, running his hands through his hair. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "I'm just a man who can't pay rent." She leaned closer. Her eyes locked on his. "Yes, but you are still human, and that is enough." Her words cut through the air like a blade. Leaving Daniel shaken, he glanced at the folded clothes again. Still perfect, untouched since last night. A reminder that she was real, that all of this was real. "I don't even know your name," Daniel muttered. Trying to catch his breath, the woman smiled. "Names do not matter. Not yet. When you are ready, you may call me what humans call a friend." The word hit him harder than he expected. Friend, he hadn't heard it spoken to him in months. Daniel's throat tightened. He looked away, not wanting her to see the sudden weakness in his eyes. The woman stood still, her hands folded in front of her, her calm never breaking. "Tomorrow we begin. I will return, and you will show me what it means to love." Daniel wanted to argue, to shout, to demand answers, but no words came. His voice was gone, swallowed by fear and by the strange spark of hope flickering in his chest. She turned and walked to the door, her movements quiet, graceful, but unnaturally smooth before stepping out. She looked back one last time. "Remember, Daniel, the smallest things hold the greatest truths," she said softly. "Even folding laundry can reveal a universe." Then she was gone again. The door closed behind her, leaving him in silence. Daniel sat alone, his heart pounding, his mind drowning in questions. The city outside roared with life. Machines rolled down the streets. Neon signs flashed across the night sky. But inside his small room, only two things remained: a man who had nothing, and a stranger's promise that he carried something more powerful than war. Night returned quickly. The city glowed with neon lights, but inside Daniel's small room, the silence grew heavy. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't stop hearing her words. "You will show me what it means to love." Daniel paced back and forth, his bare feet against the cold floor, his thoughts spinning. What kind of madness was this? Aliens talking about laundry and love, and why him? A man with no money, no future, no hope. The knock came again, soft and calm. The same rhythm. Daniel froze. Part of him wanted to ignore it, but curiosity pulled harder than fear. He opened the door slowly, and there she was, the same woman. Her strange, calm smile waiting. "Daniel," she said quietly. "May I come in?" He hesitated, then stepped aside. She entered, moving with grace, her presence filling the room again. This time she didn't look at the laundry. She didn't touch anything. She sat in the chair by the window, folding her hands in her lap. Daniel crossed his arms, his voice sharp. "No more games, I want the truth. Who are you? What do you want from me?" The woman's eyes glowed faintly. Like stars hidden behind clouds, she leaned forward slightly. "I am not human. You already know that, but what I am is not the question. What matters is what you are." Daniel frowned. "I'm nothing," he said bitterly. "I can't pay rent. I can't even feed myself." Her head tilted, her smile softening. "You are human, Daniel, and that means you hold the one thing we cannot create. Cannot steal, cannot copy." He swallowed hard, his voice low. "Love," she nodded slowly. "Yes, love. Your kind feels it in ways we cannot understand. We tried to study it in machines, in data, in logic, but it slips away. It hides in the smallest things, a glance, a laugh. Even in folding laundry." Daniel shook his head, laughing without humor. "That's insane. You came across the stars for this." Her eyes flashed brighter. "Not insane, necessary. My people do not feel as you do. We are strong. We are advanced, but we are empty, and now, as war approaches, we must decide if humanity is worth saving or if we will destroy it." Daniel's chest tightened. The word destroy echoed in his mind like thunder. "War," he repeated. "You mean invasion?" She nodded. "Yes, invasion, but it has not begun yet. I was sent to learn, to see if humans carry something worth preserving, something stronger than power or fear, and that is love." Daniel's hands trembled. He sat down on the edge of the bed, his voice shaking. "Why me? Why not someone rich, someone smarter, someone with a family?" The woman leaned closer, her eyes unblinking. "Because you are broken, and only the broken understand the true shape of love. You struggle, yet you still hope. You fall, yet you still rise. In your pain lies the answer my people cannot find." Her words sank deep. Daniel looked away, ashamed. "You make me sound like I matter." "But I don't." She reached across the space, her hand hovering just above his arm, not touching, but close enough that he felt the chill. "You matter more than you believe. Daniel, every human does. That is your strength. You give meaning to each other even in small acts." Daniel's throat tightened. His mind swam. "So you're saying, if I can prove love is real, if I can show you, then Earth lives?" Her voice dropped, calm but heavy. "Yes, and if you cannot, if you fail, then Earth falls." The silence cut through the air. Daniel's chest rose and fell fast. It felt impossible, absurd. How could a man with nothing prove something as big as love? But then he looked again at the folded clothes still stacked neatly, and he remembered her words, the smallest things. "Why laundry?" he asked suddenly, his voice sharp. "Why start there?" The woman's smile returned, strange and soft. "Because laundry is care without reward. You do not fold it for money. You fold it because you wish for someone to feel comfort. It is a symbol of the unseen love humans carry. Simple but powerful." Daniel sat in silence, her words stirring something deep. Memories of his mother folding clothes for him as a child, of moments he had forgotten, moments that had mattered more than he realized. He swallowed hard, his eyes wet. "So that's it? You want me to teach you, to show you through things like that?" She nodded, her eyes steady. "Yes, and tomorrow we begin. You will show me your world, your ways, the things you do not think about, but the things that carry love hidden inside them." Daniel leaned back, exhausted, his voice a whisper. "And if I refuse?" Her glow dimmed, her face shadowed. "Then humanity has no defense, and my people will erase it." The room grew colder, Daniel's breath visible in the air. He looked at her, at the strange woman who wasn't human, who spoke of war and love as if they were the same. And for the first time, he felt the weight of something larger than himself, larger than rent, larger than survival. It wasn't just his struggle anymore. It was humanity's, and as she rose to leave, her voice lingered like an echo. Tomorrow, Daniel. We begin. The door closed behind her, leaving Daniel alone with his thoughts, and the terrifying secret that now rested on his shoulders. The fate of Earth depended on him. A man who couldn't pay his rent, but maybe, just maybe, could show the universe what it meant to love. The city outside never slept. Machines hummed, neon lights blinked, and alien traders shouted in languages Daniel didn't understand. But inside his small room, silence wrapped around him like a heavy blanket. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the folded laundry that still sat untouched. Those sharp, perfect lines mocking him. They reminded him of her words, of the secret she had shared, of the war that could erase his world. He didn't want to believe her, but he couldn't forget the way her eyes glowed, the way her voice carried both calm and warning. When the knock came again, Daniel's heart jumped. He already knew who it was. The rhythm was the same, gentle, patient, almost polite. He opened the door, and she stepped inside without hesitation, her smile calm, her movements graceful, her presence filling the room like a shadow and a light at the same time. "Good evening, Daniel," she said softly. "Are you ready?" Daniel frowned. His arms crossed tight. "Ready for what? Ready to teach you how to cook or how to wash dishes? Is that what you think love is?" Her smile didn't fade. She sat in the chair again, folding her hands neatly. "Yes, those things and more. But not because of the act itself. It is because of the meaning behind it. The hidden energy inside small actions. That is what I seek." Daniel shook his head, pacing the room. "This is crazy. You talk about love like it's fuel, like something you can bottle and use." Her eyes flashed faintly. "It is fuel in a way. Love is what holds your kind together. It is what keeps you from destroying each other. Without it, you would already be gone." Daniel stopped pacing, his voice sharp. "Then why are you here? If you know all that, why risk coming to me? What aren't you telling me?" The woman's calm face shifted for the first time, her smile fading just slightly, her voice lower now. "Because my people are running out of time, we have grown strong in body, sharp in mind, but empty in heart. Without love, we are machines of flesh, and machines destroy what they cannot feel." Daniel's chest tightened. The air felt colder. "So this isn't just about me teaching you, is it?" "There's more." She nodded slowly. "Yes, much more. My people plan for war. They see humans as weak, scattered, easy to crush. But I was sent to prove otherwise. I was sent to find evidence that your kind carries something worth preserving." Daniel's voice cracked. "And if you don't, if I fail," her eyes glowed brighter, "then Earth becomes nothing more than another colony, another forgotten world." Stripped and silent, the words hit Daniel harder than any punch. His legs felt weak. He sat down again, holding his head in his hands. "You're telling me the fate of my world rests on folding laundry and cooking meals?" Her smile returned, soft but strange. "Not the acts themselves, Daniel, but the truth they carry. Love is not a grand gesture, it is in the hidden things, in the care that no one notices. That is what I must learn. That is what may save you." Daniel lifted his head, his eyes tired. "Why do I feel like there's still something you're not saying?" The woman leaned forward, her gaze sharp. "Because you are right, there is more. My people do not only want to understand love. Some want to steal it, to turn it into power, to weaponize it if they succeed. Then both our kinds are doomed." Daniel's stomach twisted. The room seemed smaller, darker. "So you're saying I have to prove love is real, while your people are trying to turn it into a weapon?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Yes, and they will use me to do it, unless I can show them another way." "Unless you can." Daniel stared at her, fear mixing with anger. "Why should I trust you for all I know? You're just preparing me for their experiments. Maybe this is all a trap." The woman didn't flinch, her voice calm. "If it were a trap, Daniel, you would already be gone. But you are here breathing, doubting, and that doubt is human. It means you still choose. Machines do not choose. They only follow." Her words cut through his anger. Leaving only the heavy truth, he stood slowly, looking out the small window at the glowing towers. "What happens now?" he asked quietly. She rose from the chair, her movement smooth, her glow faint but steady. "Now you show me, not with words, but with actions, the smallest things, the hidden things. Teach me what love is before my people destroy everything." Daniel turned to her, his chest heavy, his throat dry. "And if I can't?" Her expression darkened, her glow dimmed. Then your world will be nothing more than folded clothes in the corner of the universe, neat, forgotten, lifeless. The silence pressed hard. Daniel felt the weight of her words crush against him. He thought of his empty wallet, his unpaid rent, his quiet loneliness, and now the burden of an entire world placed on his shoulders. He wanted to laugh, he wanted to cry, but all he could do was stand there, staring at the stranger who wasn't human, the stranger who demanded he show the universe what made humans different. For the first time, Daniel understood this wasn't about rent anymore. This wasn't about survival in a city of machines and aliens. This was about something far greater. The hidden agenda was clear. Humanity's last chance rested in the smallest of human acts, and the test had already begun. The next morning was different. Daniel woke not to silence but to the sound of footsteps outside his door. Steady, calm, unhurried. He sat up, heart already pounding. He knew it was her before the knock even came. When he opened the door, she stood there again, her strange, calm smile in place, her eyes glowing faintly in the morning light. "Good morning, Daniel," she said softly. "Today, you will show me," Daniel hesitated, rubbing the back of his neck. "Show you what?" "I don't exactly know how to teach love." Her smile widened just slightly. "Not teach, show the smallest actions. The hidden truths." She stepped inside, looking around the room, her gaze falling on the bed, the chair, the small table, every detail as if it mattered. Daniel sighed. "Fine, you want to learn? Then start with this." He picked up a wrinkled shirt from the floor. "Humans wear clothes, they get dirty, and they need cleaning." She tilted her head. "Because of pride?" Daniel shook his head. "No, because of care. You wash clothes so the person feels clean, feels respected, even if it's only yourself." She touched the shirt gently, running her fingers across the fabric. "So care hides in cloth," she whispered. Almost to herself, Daniel rolled his eyes. "Something like that." He showed her how to fill a small basin with water, how to scrub the shirt gently. Her hands moved too fast at first, splashing water everywhere. He laughed, a sound that surprised even him. "Slow down, you're not fighting it. Just wash it." Her glowing eyes watched his face carefully, as if the sound of his laugh mattered more than the act. She slowed, her movements clumsy but trying. When she lifted the shirt, dripping wet, she smiled. "Better," Daniel nodded, wringing out another shirt. "Better," he admitted. For the first time in weeks. The room didn't feel so heavy, it felt alive. Later, he showed her how to make toast. Simple bread burned at the edges, smoke filling the air. She tilted her head at the blackened slice. "This is wrong," she said. Confused, Daniel laughed again, shaking his head. "Yeah, you burned it, but it happens. Humans mess things up all the time." She studied the toast carefully, then bit into it, chewing slowly, her expression unreadable. "It is bitter," she said. "But you still laugh." "That's the point," Daniel said. "We laugh because it's not perfect, because it's okay to fail." Her eyes softened. "So even mistakes carry love." Daniel froze at her words, realizing she was seeing something he never thought about. The day stretched on, filled with small lessons, folding clothes together, making tea, tidying the room. Every act felt strange under her sharp gaze, but also meaningful in a way Daniel had forgotten. Sometimes she asked questions that made his chest tighten. "Why do you smile when you are tired?" Or, "Why do you hum when you are sad?" Daniel never had clear answers, but he tried. "Because it makes things easier. Because it reminds you that you're alive." She listened closely, her glowing eyes searching his face for something more. As evening came, they sat together in silence. The room cleaner, warmer, filled with the quiet hum of the city outside. Daniel leaned back, exhausted but strangely calm. "I don't know if I'm helping you," he admitted. "I feel like I'm just showing you how to survive." The woman turned her head toward him, her voice gentle. "Survival without love is emptiness. Survival with love is life. You are showing me life." Her words struck deep. Daniel looked away, his chest heavy with emotions he didn't want to face. He had been alone for so long, forgotten by the city, weighed down by rent, by failure, by silence, but now, in this strange woman's company, the emptiness felt less sharp. She leaned closer, her eyes glowing faintly. "You laugh with me. You teach me even when I fail. Is this not love?" Daniel shook his head quickly. "No, not love. This is just helping. It's not the same." Her smile widened. "Then what is love, Daniel?" His throat tightened. His mind blank, he had no answer, not yet. The silence stretched, broken only by the hum of machines outside. Finally, he whispered, Maybe love is when you care even if no one sees it. Even if no one thanks you. Her eyes glowed brighter, as if his words were more valuable than any lesson. Then you have already shown me, she said softly. Daniel's chest ached. He stood quickly, moving to the window. Don't twist my words, he muttered. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. But she only smiled, watching him with that same steady gaze. Yet you still say it. Because you are human, the room grew quiet again. But it wasn't the heavy silence of loneliness anymore. It was a softer silence filled with something unspoken. Daniel didn't realize it, but a connection had already begun. The woman who wasn't human was learning, and the man who had nothing was remembering. And in the smallest acts, in the burnt toast and wrinkled shirts, in the laughter that surprised him, a fragile bond was forming. A bond that might hold the power to save the world or to destroy it. The city outside glowed brighter than the stars. Airships drifted between towers, machines rolled down the streets. But inside Daniel's small room, the weight of silence was heavy. He sat by the window, watching the lights flicker across the glass, his mind tangled with everything he had heard, everything he had seen. The woman had left earlier, her strange calm smile still fresh in his memory, her glowing eyes burning behind his thoughts. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to believe that teaching her small things mattered, but the words she had spoken haunted him more. If she was telling the truth, then Earth stood on the edge of destruction, and somehow he, a man who couldn't even pay his rent, was caught in the middle. The knock came again, slow, soft. The same rhythm as always. Daniel stood, his hands trembling. He opened the door and she entered, her presence filling the room, her calm smile in place. Daniel, she said gently, tonight. You must choose. Daniel frowned. Choose what? She sat in the chair, folding her hands neatly, her glowing eyes steady. Whether you will help me or whether you will walk away. His chest tightened. He crossed his arms. And if I walk away, her glow dimmed, her voice low, then the choice is made. My people will come. They will see nothing worth saving, and Earth will burn. Daniel's throat went dry. And if I help you, her smile returned, faint but sharp, then you may save your world. You may show my people that love is stronger than steel, stronger than fear. Daniel turned away, pacing the room. You make it sound simple, but it's not. How do I prove something as big as love? How do I prove something invisible? She tilted her head. By living it, by showing it in small actions, by letting me see the truth in you. Daniel stopped pacing, his voice sharp. And if I fail? Her eyes glowed brighter. Then humanity fails with you. The word struck like a blade. Daniel sank onto the bed, his face buried in his hands. Why me, he muttered. Why not someone stronger, someone smarter, someone who isn't already broken? She rose from the chair, stepping closer, her voice calm. Because the broken carry the deepest truths. You have nothing, yet you still laugh, you still care. Even when it hurts, that is love, Daniel. He looked up at her, his eyes tired. You don't understand. I don't even know what love is anymore. I've lost too much. I've failed too many times. She leaned closer, her gaze sharp. Then find it again. Show me. Show yourself. Before it is too late. Daniel felt the air grow colder, the room smaller, the weight of her words pressing hard on his chest. He wanted to shout, to push her away, to tell her she was wrong. But he couldn't because deep inside he knew she was right. The choice wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone, every voice in the city, every child, every forgotten man and woman. Their survival hung on something as fragile as love. The woman's voice softened. I am not your enemy, Daniel. I am your witness. But soon others will come. They will test you. They will test your world. And the answer will decide everything. Daniel's breath shook. Others, he whispered. You mean more like you? She nodded. Yes, the council, the ones who command. They will demand proof, and when they come, you must be ready. He swallowed hard, fear burning in his chest. And if I'm not? Her eyes dimmed, her smile fading. Then they will not ask again. Silence filled the room. Heavy, sharp, unbroken. Daniel stood slowly, moving to the window again, staring at the towers lit by neon. I never asked for this, he said bitterly. I just wanted to survive, to get by. And now you tell me the fate of the world depends on me. The woman's voice was calm, but firm. The universe does not ask who is ready. Daniel, it chooses, and it chose you. His fists clenched at his sides, his body trembling. He turned, his voice breaking. What if I can't do it? What if I fail everyone? She stepped closer, her hand hovering just above his arm. Not touching, but close. Then at least you tried. At least you fought. That is more than most. That is what makes you human. Daniel's chest ached, his throat tight. He closed his eyes. You make it sound so easy. Her faint smile returned. It is not easy. It is human, and that is enough. The silence stretched again, the hum of the city filling the distance between them. Finally, Daniel opened his eyes, meeting her glowing gaze. Fine, he said softly. I'll help you. But not because I believe I can, only because I have no choice. Her eyes glowed brighter, her smile wider. Even that is a choice, Daniel, and it is enough for now. The room felt warmer, though fear still gripped his chest. Something else stirred within him, something he had not felt in years, a fragile spark of hope. But deep inside, Daniel knew this was only the beginning. The tests were coming, the council was waiting, and the choice he had made tonight would change not just his life, but the fate of all humanity. The city was quiet that night, too quiet. The usual hum of machines felt distant, muted. As if the whole world was holding its breath, Daniel sat by the window, staring at the folded laundry still stacked neatly on the chair. The same pile that had started everything. Tomorrow, she had said, the council would come tomorrow. He would stand before them tomorrow. He would prove what it meant to be human. He tried to sleep, but his eyes refused to close. Fear gnawed at him. Doubt whispered in his ear. How could he prove love? How could he convince beings who felt nothing, who saw humans as weak? The knock came again, soft, steady. The rhythm he knew too well. Daniel opened the door and she entered. Her calm smile in place, her glowing eyes brighter than before, as if the moment had finally arrived. It is time, Daniel, she said gently. Are you ready? His voice cracked. No, but I'll do it anyway, she nodded. That is what makes you human. You walk forward even when afraid. The air outside grew colder. The lights of the city flickered, and then the room itself seemed to bend. Shadows stretched, walls shook, and in a blink, they were no longer alone. Figures appeared, tall, pale, their eyes glowing brighter than hers, their movements silent, graceful, terrifying. The council had arrived. Daniel's chest tightened. His breath shallow, he wanted to run, but his legs locked in place. One of them stepped forward, taller than the rest, his voice like metal grinding against stone. You claim humans carry something unique, prove it. Daniel looked at the woman, panic rising in his chest. What do I do? He whispered. Her voice was calm, steady. Do what you know. Show them love, not in words, but in action. Daniel's mind raced. Love, what could he show? He had no money, no gifts, no grand gesture. Only the small things, the things she had forced him to remember. His eyes fell on the laundry, the neatly folded shirts. He walked to the pile slowly, his hands trembling. He picked one up, unfolded it, and held it carefully. The council watched in silence, their glowing eyes unblinking. Daniel's voice shook. Love isn't loud. It isn't fire or power. It's this, he said, lifting the shirt. My mother used to fold my clothes when I was young. Not because she had to. Not because she wanted thanks, but because she cared. Because she wanted me to feel safe, to feel seen. His hand shook as he folded the shirt again. Slowly, carefully, the way she had shown him. This is love, he whispered. It's in the smallest things, the things no one notices. The things you do because you want someone else to feel comfort. Even when you get nothing in return. The woman stepped closer, her eyes glowing softer now. This is what I have learned, she said to the council. In burnt toast and clumsy smiles and folded laundry, love hides, invisible yet stronger than steel. The council was silent, their glowing eyes scanning Daniel as if peeling back his soul. The tall one spoke again. You claim this act holds more power than war. Daniel's throat tightened, but he nodded. Yes, because war destroys. But love builds, war takes, but love gives. Even in something as small as this, it gives life meaning. Silence stretched long, heavy, unbearable. Then the tall figure stepped back, his glow dimming. Strange, fragile, but true, he said finally. We see it. Daniel's chest loosened, his breath coming fast. He almost collapsed from the weight lifting off him. The council began to fade, their forms dissolving into shadows and light, until only the woman remained, her calm smile watching him. You did it, Daniel, she whispered. You showed them. He sank onto the bed, his face buried in his hands. I don't even know how, he muttered. I just folded a shirt. Her voice was soft, steady. Yes, and that was enough. You proved what makes your kind different. You proved that even the smallest act carries love. And love carries life. Daniel lifted his head, his eyes wet. So Earth is safe. She nodded slowly. For now, the Council will not bring war. They will watch, they will wait. But they have seen your truth. He exhaled. The sound half a laugh, half a sob. I still can't pay rent, he said bitterly. Her smile widened. And yet, you may have saved your world. Silence filled the room again. But it was no longer heavy, it was lighter, fragile, filled with something unspoken. Daniel leaned back, closing his eyes, his body trembling. What happens now? He asked quietly. The woman stepped closer, her glowing eyes soft. Now you live. You keep showing love. Not for them, not for me, but for yourself. Because that is what makes you human. Daniel's chest ached. But it was different now. Less like a wound, more like a reminder. The city outside roared back to life. Lights flashing, machines humming, voices shouting, but inside his small room, something had changed forever. A man who had nothing had shown everything, and in the smallest act, he had revealed the greatest truth. Love hidden, fragile, invisible, yet strong enough to hold back war, strong enough to save a world. And as Daniel sat there, staring at the folded laundry, he realized that sometimes, the smallest acts were not small at all. Sometimes, they carried the weight of the universe.